Hi, everybody. This is Loren Baker, founder of Search Engine Journal. Welcome to today's Search Engine Journal show. With me today, I have Gianna Martins of Hostgator / Newfold from Brazil. How are you, Gianna?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. And you, Lauren?
It's a pleasure to have you today. I'm interested in talking to you about a number of things, but I ran a poll on Twitter this morning
Yeah.
and asking if people knew where Search Engine Journal was born. And the options were USA, Japan, Brazil, and Florida, which is kind of a joke. So 35% said USA, 33% said Japan, 21% said Florida, and only 9.5% said Brazil. So the correct answer is Brazil. Search
Whoa,
Engine
that's
Journal was born in
amazing.
Brazil. Yes, Search Engine Journal is brasileiro / brasileira que agora mora nos
Oh,
Estados Unidos. So,
great Portuguese,
yes.
Lauren.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to butcher Portuguese too much on this podcast today, but it's really a pleasure to have you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm really thankful to be here with you today. As you know, Search Engine Journal for me is like a reference for SEO. So being here today is like, oh my God, a dream come true. So I'm really, really happy. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. So I just wanted, before we got started,
Mhm.
could you tell our audience a little bit about your position at HostGator, kind of what you do, and a little bit about your background as well?
Of course. Hi guys, I'm from Brazil. I have more or less 4 years of experience in SEO, but 7 or 8 in marketing, digital marketing. I'm graduated in marketing, post-graduated in user experience. Actually, I'm working on HostGator as SEO and content. Um, and I am the creator of the all strategy of content for the blog and we can do in the future and things like that. So for me, it's really great to be there. They are amazing. And something that I can talk about is also that I'm part of the group from woman in SEO, and also the Latinas SEO, and it's
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to be there because it's a lot of women amazing doing SEO. So you can all the time talking about it, and for me it's like, oh my God, I'm in the heaven. you know
nice, nice, very cool, very cool. Well, it's a pleasure to have you. I'm really interested in learning more, and I'm sure our audiences as well, about the Latin American market. I've done a little bit of international work in the past from an SEO perspective, and if you look at Europe, it's a small area with it's an area of lots of different countries, but all of the
yeah,
different countries have separate languages, right? Or for the most part, a lot of different countries have separate languages. Same thing in
exactly.
Asia or Southeast Asia, where because of geographical borders and whatnot, most countries do have a separate language. In Latin America, Central South America, it's predominantly Spanish, but then of course we have Brazil, where it's the language of Portuguese.
Yes.
So one thing and one how how is it different targeting? So when I'm used to looking at hreflang and setting up internationalization, it's typically the language and the country, right? And you have some
Yeah.
repetition. You have like, England, Ireland, the United States, Singapore, English. But then other than that, it's usually very different, and the language usually matches up with the country targeting. Do you
Yeah.
find any differences or challenges in Latin America with trying to hit the specific country, even though the language is the same?
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people think, oh, Brazil, Spanish, because all the countries around here is talk Spanish, but we talk Portuguese, guys. And once I heard, oh, you talk Brazilian. No, I talk Portuguese. And before I was working in a company that had a lot of people from Colombia, Mexico, mostly Argentina, and it's really hard to hit some target in those countries because we have like kinds of a lot of ways of talking in each country. So, for example, we can use a different word for something in Colombia, and something else is really different in Mexico. So they use the same word for different things. That's why it was really hard to work on those places, And before I'm working with the Latin America, it was really fun for me work to, Ireland client and clients from Europa, for a lot of places from Europa, USA. But in Latin America, it's really difficult because we have all these differences in Colombia, Mexico, Argentina. The way of them talking is different. I mean, like, maybe people thinks that in Portugal is the same as Brazil, but it's really different. There's a lot of words in Portugal that here in Brazil we think is really funny, and sometimes it's a big word. So here in Latin America, working for Colombia and Mexico and Argentina, once we have worked for Chile as well. So the head of writing, it was easy to do, but the content itself is the challenge.
So localization is very important, and you can't necessarily depend on translation alone, because
Exactly.
you may say something that could be offensive or inappropriate in a different language, or just misunderstood.
Exactly.
Is it easy to pick up just purely translated language from country to country? Like, can a user tell when they're reading the content, like, hey, this is obviously translated from Portuguese to Spanish, or this is obviously translated? Okay.
We had some issues with that because, for example, we have some people to write in Spanish, but in Portuguese we don't have anyone. So sometimes they just translate it and send it to us in Brazil. And everything was like in Portuguese of Portugal. And I was, no, please, no. And
you're
then
like,
I have to review. Exactly.
Okay, isso, bicho.
And then I have to review anyway, But when we got some strategies there, we have to put some people in Mexico, one manager in Colombia, one in Argentina, just to deal with the content, because we are seeing this kind of issue,
And when you have those content optimizations, you typically see a higher conversion rate, people's time on site, things like that as well?
Yeah. We had before a lot of problems with that too. But when we put a person to do the work in each place, in each country, all those things like disappeared. When we don't have someone in Brazil like me, I was the first person in the company to do SEO for Brazil, exactly for Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Because the company was doing content in Portuguese made by people that talk Spanish.
Wait, was that at Berlitz or a different company?
Yes, exactly.
I would expect Berlitz to have some language experts.
Oh,
amongst the amount of teachers and everything, but no?
exactly. We have teachers there. That's why I was like, oh my God, what you are doing, guys?
Hmm.
Let me do everything. Let's go. And then we made the blog. I was making the blog as a strategy for content as well. And all the contents, I was the person doing that
Oh,
because I was like, okay, I will do that because I don't want that to see the same issues that have in other countries.
I see. I see. So a couple of good takeaways from that are, just to recap a little bit about of what you said is make sure you have someone that's actually from the country or the region,
Exactly.
reviewing the work, or reviewing the translations. And then when you have languages, even English to a degree, like if I'm reading British English, I can tell spelling differences, phrases, things like that. The same thing with Spanish, same thing with Portuguese. I wasn't really that aware that European Portuguese is that much different than Brazilian Portuguese.
Yeah.
But you can't necessarily depend on translation alone, translation apps. There's so many WordPress plugins that people just install and it's kind of set it and forget it. But I would imagine that running across those automatically translated blog posts and things like that run into more problems than it's worth from time to time.
Oh yeah, this translated contents was terrible, and not just in Berlin. Once I was working with agents, and we are doing some content in Portuguese. And then my colleague, he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna ask some people to help us with that." Then when he sent me the content was written by people from Argentina. And I was like, no, again. And it was the same issue in Portuguese from Portugal. And I was like,
Interesting.
no, don't do that, please. And it's
Interesting.
really different.
So, what got you into SEO to begin with, and content marketing? And what would you say is your drive at the end of the day? What really gets you up
Oh,
in the morning?
yes. Well, the thing that I love most to do is search keywords.
Mm-hmm.
I love to search. Each keyword are used by the owners of websites, the others. Like I call them like that. Like we are a company and we are seeing the others doing something that is good and we can do even better. So I made my research, and then I search for the keywords. I put all the strategy in the content, the H2, H3, and go on. And I see the structure of the content in my head, and I try to put it on the paper. So this is something that I really love to do. It's like, for me, it's like hunting every day. I don't like to hunt,
Oh,
but but it's something like that. Like, okay, they are doing that, I will do better. Something like that.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, I can definitely see that as well. Not necessarily a perfectionist, but wanting things to just be better than they are. As a reminder to all of our viewers and listeners, today's episode of the Search Engine Journal Show is brought to us by Ahrefs and the Ahrefs Webmaster Tool Suite, which is available at ahrefs.com/AWT. And thank you again, Ahrefs, for sponsoring. I'm going to have a sip of my cafezão. Or is that correct to say in Portuguese, by the way? I'm pretty familiar with cafezinho, but I used to make,
Cafezinho.
yeah. This is a large coffee though. So.
I was
Thank
like
you.
a coffee right
Thank you.
now, but I can't.
It's okay. It's okay. So, you're in web hosting now. So you made a jump from English as a second. Not just English as a second. I always think of Berlitz as being an English school, but language schools to web hosting, right? So pretty competitive markets, but my understanding is that web hosting is a much more competitive market as well, and it's also on the tech side, which is very related to your passion of SEO. Could you go over a little bit about the world of web hosting, what you typically see as being challenges or opportunities? Of course, not going into too much detail, but any strategies or differences in the world of web hosting now to what you're doing previously in language schools?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you can hear my dog, but sorry about her.
That's okay.
You know, before I have worked with IT.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, technology is like a word that I love too. Same as a marketing, but marketing for me is my passion. So it wins. So I leave the IT market, and I am here now working with IT and SEO. It's
Again.
like you don't have a place to run, Diana. You gonna work with IT.
Mm-hmm.
So before I was working with education too, but it's really different as you have mentioned. This market of IT and host is really something like competitive. We can see this on the search. We can see a lot of ads. We can see they doing contents that is similar, but you can see how they try to do even better, and some strategies that is different. For example, in Hostgator, we have now the Hostgator Academy. Like we're gonna teach people to put a website and some things on this side, So we can see how many strategies we have here in Hostgator, trying to be the top of the top. And I can talk to you something. It's about if I can say something, is about how much Hostgator is like, okay, I have fire in my eyes. I'm gonna make it better than anyone. And all the team are like that. We are like really, really seeing the future of this company happening, mostly now that we have new fold on our site.
Yes.
And we are like trying a lot of new things to do here, to try something new. And when we are doing SEO now, is mostly because we want that. We want to be the top one in the world, not just in Brazil. We are
Wow.
like that. Yeah, that's why
Wow.
I'm here in Hostgator, because I am like them. I am this person that, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna make it happen. And Hostgator is really something on this side. We can see the others hosts doing content and doing websites that is really okay, but we are not seeing like academies to teach people to do their own website. We are not seeing the others hosts doing videos on YouTube to like, okay, see you here in YouTube. We are teaching you here too for free,
Mm-hmm.
And we have tutorials and things like that. So we are like really, really happy. And we have Snappy. That is our alligator.
Snappy's the
I
name
have
of the
one
alligator?
here. I
Oh,
have one here. He's so
cute.
cute.
Yeah, very much so. How do you say shikare? No, wait, I'm trying. Is that, how do you
What?
say alligator in Portuguese? Or am I
Jacaré.
thinking jacare? Okay, so I think I was saying something. I think I was saying a location. So
I love this word.
So that's really interesting. I did not realize that you launched an academy. I imagine that helps not only with education but retention, right? If someone's getting free education from a website publishing perspective, from a marketing perspective, are you also teaching SEO as well and helping on the SEO side within that academy, or is that something that may be
Well,
coming in the future?
I'm gonna leave here for you that we maybe are thinking do something like that, teach SEO as well. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But we have a lot of uh, um, classes for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things like WordPress as well. We are teaching everything about that. For people that want to do their one website, their one business, we are like, okay, we're gonna reach the world. It's something really, really great to be part of.
You had mentioned that before getting into SEO and content that you were in IT. So
Yeah.
is your background more what is your background in IT?
My background is like working on install softwares, trying to make new ones, working on the codes. I love HTML. Oh my god! But I really work at more in this support
Mm-hmm.
and trying to make new things on the company. Like for example, on this year, working on IT, like 10 years ago, I think. I was working for a company here in Brazil that is really big, and they are doing the migration for the Windows 7. And I was part of the API. We are doing the code by
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. So I was part of that, and it was really cool. I'm
So
some dev too. Oh my God. I'm not
yeah.
telling it right now. Like,
So
okay.
um, do you think that's been an advantage in your SEO career, is having a background in IT and development? Do you feel it helps you push things
Oh,
through,
yeah.
communicate with the dev team, and then how so? Could you give some
Yeah,
examples?
of course. For example, I know where put the codes of HTML if necessary. I know how the codes works for SEO too. So for me, it really helped a lot because it's like, okay, I want to do something marketing that have to do with programmation or something like that, but I don't know what is this. And then I have met SEO and was like, oh my God, fear, love at first sight.
Right.
Then, yes, IT really helped me a lot on this side.
All right, excellent. Would you recommend that if someone has entered the SEO field and maybe they do not have an IT background, that they learn some kind of programming or anything on the development side?
I think just if you know HTML, that is the basic of the websites, you can just have something to help you lean in that because as I said, if you know where the place of this code, good. If you don't know, you are like, okay, let me ask help from my dev. If you need to fix something by yourself, it's better, I think. You know, so when I have some troubles that I can't do anything, then I have the help of my devs on the Hostgator and before made on Berlitz. I work really close of the team
Hmm.
because I'm like, oh, let's test this, let's test that. I love to test everything in SEO, and people are like, oh my God, wait 1 month. Like, okay, I know that you like it, but calm down. But it's really good to know something because, maybe you are talking with your dev and your dev are explaining you something that you don't have idea what is this.
Right.
So even you know HTML or something basic, you are good.
Excellent. That's good. I know from my own experience. I mean, I guess I'm self-taught, like just by the trial and error of like launching a blog in PHP and WordPress. I always knew HTML is just kind of, you just figure it out, right? But just moving things around, breaking things, fixing them again, things like that. I think if I could go back in time, and maybe I'll still do this, I would take a class on on something to help. I do
Yeah.
know that developers do like to call you out if you're a little off or wrong. So the ability to have that background, I can imagine, is very valuable. I'm going.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
We have a word from our sponsor at Ahrefs, and then I'd like to get into a little bit about the peer support groups that you talked about with Women in Tech SEO and then SEO Latinas. So
Great.
we'll be right back. Today's episode of the Search Engine Journal Show is brought to you by our good friends at Ahrefs. And today I'd like to tell you a little bit about Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. Ahrefs Webmaster Tools is a free resource. Again, that's free. You don't even need a credit card to sign up, where you can monitor your SEO site health, know your backlinks, not just check your backlinks, but know your backlinks, then also see keywords that are bringing you traffic to your site. This gives you a better understanding of your website's SEO potential with the help of actionable SEO metrics, such as search volume, keyword difficulty, and traffic value. Just go to ahrefs.com. Again, it's ahrefs.com/AWT to give Ahrefs Webmaster Tools a spin. Again, just go to ahrefs.com/AWT to check out Ahrefs Webmaster Tools for free. Thank you so much, and back to our show. Okay, I'm back with Gianna Martins of HostGator.
Hey.
So pleasure to have you and talk to you today. We've had a chance to discuss internationalization and culture, the culture component as well. We did have a comment in our come in today, or a couple of comments. One of the first was Dr. Sibip in India mentioned that there are 22 languages in India to optimize for. I did not.
Oh my God.
Quite a bit.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I thought optimizing for English and Spanish in the U.S. was hard enough, but 22 different languages is quite a bit. I'm sure there's one centralized language that maybe English or whatever, but that is really interesting. And then we also had a chance to talk about just like the differences in between Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, even the European Spanish and Portuguese language speaking countries like Spain and Portugal that help with this as well. And what is it? Angola is also Portuguese, right? Angola.
Yeah.
Africa?
Angola.
Yeah.
We have a lot of countries in Africa and another place here in
Macau.
Latin America. Yeah, that talks Portuguese. It's really good to see the different kind of accents, right?
Yes.
It's really beautiful. Oh, José is from Brazil.
Oh.
Hi, José. Oi.
Hey, how's it going? Feel free to comment, anybody that's currently watching live on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll address your questions in the comments 100%, especially anything about internationalization, SEO, hosting, whatever it may be. Gianna, you had mentioned that you're part of a community called Women in Tech SEO. Would you like to talk about that? And then also, in general, I would say what are the benefits of being in a support group in terms of peers like yourself in an industry?
It's really great because the girls are always helping each other. Like, okay, there is some article that can help you with that, or this or that. And in one month in Tech SEO, it's more worldwide SEO. And we have a lot of women there, like from India, Israel, USA, Europe, Japan. We have people from all the places of the world. And the Latinas SEO is really from Latin America, of course. And we have amazing professionals there. And you know something that I wanted to point? We have a really small community of SEO in Brazil. But yeah. It's like comparing with USA, they have 1 million or more professionals of SEO, and we have just 100,000 professionals, more or less. So it's really something like, okay, we need you, like, and we don't have any professionals of SEO on the market free to go to a company. It's really something like bizarre, I don't know, because we are really good on what we do. But in SEO, we don't have a lot of people doing that. I don't know why. But if you are watching or hearing this, please welcome to the SEO community, because we are really good in Brazil. And there's a lot of companies that are always searching for someone that does SEO, you know? And the Latina group, we are always talking about it, like not just in Brazil, but on the Colombia, on Mexico, on Argentina, the other places. We have the same problem. And this is like, oh my God, why? Because SEO is so cool.
Exactly. And it's in such high demand. I don't remember a time ever that SEO has been in this high of demand. I'm not sure how much in the United States, it's crazy right now. It really seemed to start with COVID, with lockdowns, with the acceleration of e-commerce and people shopping online and buying online. And there's a lot of big offers going out and jumping around. So if you're on the fence about getting your career started in SEO, highly, highly recommend it. It's changed my life. I'm sure it's changed your life as well, Gianna. And it's a fun thing to do at the same time. You're not just staring at code all day, but you actually get to be creative. That's what attracts me. I'm not sure what attracts you, but the ability to be creative and technical and data driven at the same time, I just feel fulfilled at the end of the day.
You have to be someone that have more than two hands. You have to have you have to be at least with 8 hands, you know, to do SEO. But it's so good to do that. When you see the results, oh my God, I love to see the graphics like that. SEO.
Exactly. It's been a tough summer, though. It's been a tough summer with Google and all their updates. But I started to see this week, I feel like we're at the end of all of this, because I've started to see sites kind of going back to normal, and the ones that we've been working on, Google's starting to finally index the changes and serve the changes differently. Exactly. That's really good to see after 3 months, Gary and John. Question that comes in from Subdolf. Which tool would you recommend for giving rankings in multiple regions and countries for sets of key terms? So are there any recommended tools on that front for doing so?
I really like the simplekeywordtool.com. This tool is just to search keywords, but you can separate it from country to country. And for me, it's so simple because you can put the words there, and the website will give to you a lot of terms that is together with this keyword, you know. And for me, it's really simple and really good. Give me the words that I like. But also, I always use the SEMrush. I think everyone's in SEO uses SEMrush or Moz, but my preference is from SEMrush.
Okay, great. Yeah, what was the name of the tool? Did you said, was it Simple Keyword Tool? I'm sorry.
No, it's keywordtool.com.
Oh, just keywordtool.com.
Yeah.
I will check them out. I'll drop a link in here.
Great.
For anyone. Diana recommends this tool. And then, of course,
Exactly. This one.
we can't forget our sponsors. HREX.
I can see some comments here, as in Zahir. It's like that. Sorry if it's not, but she's asking if we can share some tutorials. If you want to check that, I think go to the searchenginejournal.com.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I will drop a link right here to our SEO for Beginners ebook.
And not just in like tutorials. Try to read some news about SEO. Try to be into the community, because in SEO community, I can see that everyone helps each other. And then if you want to learn that, people will help you.
It's very true. I have a lot of friends that have asked me, how come you're always talking to your competition and sharing information with your competition? It's like, you know what goes around comes around. So if you help people out, chances are that help's going to come back to you in the future as well. And I just like to share information.
You know, the person that gave me the SEO background was Richard Fanning. I don't know if you know him, but he's from B2W in Brazil. And he's amazing. I really look into him because he was the person that gave me the okay, SEO is for me, because we are talking about a place in Rio de Janeiro, and we are talking, and they are like B2W are giving to a lot of people idea of a meetup about SEO in general. And then Richard was talking to me about working with SEO, and I was giving to him all my background, all the things that I have done before, what I want to do. And he was like, oh, you maybe needs to work with SEO and UX. And I was like, oh my God, yes. When I did my post-graduation, I was like, oh my God, I really love user experience as well. And if you think user experience and SEO are like together all the time. So for me, it was like perfection, because I was like, okay, I found my place in the world, you know?
Yeah, it's true. That's true. And you gave a great recommendation. Learning is not just about tutorials and ebooks and certifications, but it's about really staying on top of the news, what's going on. Highly suggest everyone goes to searchenginejournal.com/subscribe, subscribes to our Search Engine Journal newsletter. We send out an SEJ today that has recaps of the entire day. And yeah, I would say just like get active, get involved with your community, et cetera, from an SEO perspective. Temos uma pergunta para você. Agora todo mundo fica dentro da casa por coisa de COVID, sim? Não dá para foi na meetup, não dá para foi na conference, não dá para foi. You can't go anywhere, right? COVID, the past year, everyone's in the house. I used to really enjoy flying the conferences. I used to enjoy doing local meetups. When I moved to the Los Angeles area, one of the first things I did was I started an SEO meetup to meet other people in the area that also did SEO. It was great. I got to network. I got some work from it, things like that. So in addition to Women in Tech SEO and the SEO Latinas group that you recommend, are there any online forums or communities that you also would recommend to the SEO group at large, or anyone that's currently getting into SEO as a beginner, to connect with other individuals as well?
Yeah, in Women in Tech SEO have a website that you can see podcasts and tutorials, and also a form. If you want to be part of the community of the Women in Tech SEO, you can just uh, give them your form, and
Mhm.
you can be part of it. And in Latinas, we have a community on app that's called Slack. Yeah, Slack.
Oh, Slack. Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of Slack groups out now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Then we
exactly.
have this community in Slack, and we talk a lot about a lot of things too. Then we have, if you want to learn SEO, we have topic about it. We have topics about everything, and we have meetings all every month. So it's really good because you can talk to. It's not just, oh, let me do podcast or something in web and just call my friends to do that. It's just everyone talking. Of course, we have someone that is talking more than anyone, but
I know
in
people like that too.
yeah, I know. I think so. And then we have this, we have this community that is really kind to everyone in Latinas group. I think Latinas are more like, oh, let me hug you, let me give you what you need. So we are like that in this community.
Amazing, amazing. So we have a couple questions that came in. One that
Yeah.
I found was very interesting. Um, a lot of SEO and a lot of Google updates or Google announcements seem to be trending AI and big data. Do you feel there would be much left to be optimized for humans at the end of the day? So do you still feel that with all of the trends of Google going in the AI direction, right? Um, is there still room for human optimization for the human eye looking at something?
Yeah, because we are doing content human for humans. We are not doing for robots or for IA. We are doing that for another people. So yes, I think that SEO is much alive. It's different that people are talking in on LinkedIn like SEO is dead. No, SEO is not dead. I think is really the opposite, because SEO is like something that I'm doing because I think is giving to you experience that is different from another. Like if a robot is giving you this content, is not the same experience. But if I'm writing for you, and knowing that you're gonna like it, you're gonna enjoy it, you're gonna learn something, is really different because we think with our feelings. I know that EA is amazing. I really enjoy it, but I know that is a lot to work in on this side, because we are humans
Hmm.
and we are doing it for humans too.
That's fantastic. 100%.
Mhm.
And then
Right?
also, humans are the ones that are going to read your content and link to you. Humans are the ones that are going to read your content and share. And you see,
Exactly.
even there was a Google recommendation, which has been around for a while. It's actually very good practice. But the other day was to make sure that your blog posts are linked to your author profile, right? Google's doing a very
Exactly.
good job of identifying what content is written by a true individual and what is not. And I'm sure there are ways of writing that humans do that's trackable. It's different. Like with me, it's mostly typos and grammar issues, but some people start with the ability. So if I have a ghostwriter writing in my name somewhere and I'm writing a specific way, 80% of the time there's a ghostwriter writing 20% of the time using my name, or maybe someone I hire, it should really look the same. Because I think semantically, Google can tell the difference. And also at the same time, it's so important to update your user profiles, author profiles with schema markup, same as markup, sharing the most important, I believe, is LinkedIn, sharing your credentials, sharing your background, all of that. So there is a lot of AI and big data going on in the world of SEO, but there's also more, it feels like there's more personalization than there's ever been as well, or at least the proof of a true author. It wasn't doable via Google Plus or Google authorship. But now, years later, I think Google definitely has the ability to understand what's written by who, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
Another similar question that came in is, to be successful in SEO, each country or language does require a unique approach. Is this because Google's semantic understanding changes the search landscape, has changed, or people behave differently? So, do you feel that there's a unique approach in each area, just besides the localization of content? Is there anything else that's more important area per se?
I think that Google is really seeing the people, the human side now. We can see that with the last algorithm they launched. But now, to be successful in SEO, we have we have an approach, a unique approach, as you said. But for example, if I want to read something in English, I can read here in Search Engine Journal, for example. Every week I'm reading on this website, and I'm reading because I like the way this is, the content is, because I'm seeing that humans doing that and not robots or something. But I can understand this content on a way that give me pleasure to read it. And I think Google is changing as we are changing too. Our behavior is changing every day, as a SEO is changing together with us. And that's why I think the robots, the IA is not, we cannot compare with us. I think we are like always doing SEO every time, every day. And Google is like with us on that. He's checking all the contents all the time for us to have the best experience, so we can give it to the content we want to read. Please always search for the best one that Google gives you, because now Google knows what is better, which content is better for the experience. And yeah, that's it, I think. I don't know if I answered you, Loren.
Yeah, no, you did 100%. You did. And it does depend upon the area as well, and just the human touch. And if you think about it, there's a school of thought that thinks that Google is constantly trying to get really SEOs and publishers to teach the AI, right? That's why Google added featured snippets to the top of results. Because what happened once Google added featured snippets? Everyone changed the way that they wrote. It used to be that you would write paragraph, paragraph, paragraph. After feature snippet, question, statement, bullet point answers. Question, statement, bullet point answers. Google adds FAQ snippets to the results. What do all SEOs do? We add question and answer at the bottom of pages that may not even be content pages, and we mark it up with schema so Google can understand it more, right? So I think it's just, my point is that we're feeding the AI obviously with information, and then they're reutilizing that in featured snippets, which link or don't link or whatever it may be. But it's a codependent relationship, right?
Exactly.
So how do you get rewarded? Sorry, go ahead.
No, don't worry. We can't live without IA, and IA can't live without us. Because as you say, we are feeding it and not the opposite.
And then what is our reward? Traffic.
Exactly.
Traffic.
Oh my God, you are talking about featured snippets. I was like, I miss to see my contents there.
Yeah, I know.
Because
It's a lot
I started right now in Hostgator like 2 months ago. And I'm doing some contents, reviewing them because we have freelancers doing that. But sometimes when I write it in Berlitz, we have a lot of spinets. And I was like, oh, this is so good to see. You have made this content, you lost your time doing that for a long time, and then right now is the result. We can see it on top 0 of Google. And as I said before, this is the beauty of SEO.
Yep. Great. And I think that's a great note to end things with. We're almost at the top of the hour. Gianna, it's been a pleasure to meet you for the first time. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Quando falar com você, tenho saudade de Brasil, tenho saudade de coxinhas, pastel chinês,
coxinha é muito
todas
bom.
Coisas. Yeah, eu gosto de coxinha. So, so it's all coming back now. Like it's so funny how it comes back. So anyway, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you today, to get caught up about internationalization, localization of the Latin American, South American, and even European markets, about your experience at Berlitz, Hostgator as well. Congratulations to Newfold on the Yoast acquisition. And also, your experience, the advantages of having a development background and how that really helps you push things through or communicate with devs. And then also, with the past year of lockdown, it's been very interesting to hear how you've found different support groups and peers to connect with, and the demand for SEOs in the Brazilian market. So you know what? If you need a job, you're getting out of college, you're on the fence right now, start reading SEJ, start reading about tutorials, because there's jobs waiting for you.
Yeah. Yes, of course. But call me every time if you want.
Okay, will do. Will do.
Thank
you hear that, everybody?
Guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our sponsors at Ahrefs for making this possible. It's been a pleasure. And thank you again, Gianna, and all of the viewers and listeners that we've had today. We're going to end with an outro, and then all of you, see you on the next SEJ show on August 20th next week. Well, we're going to have Nick Ranger from Studio Hawk down in Australia, I believe, talk a little bit about site migrations, especially on the WordPress side, and common overlooked issues on the site migration side. So again, Gianna, it's been a pleasure. Talk to you soon. And thank you to all of our audience today.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Search Engine Journal Show. If you liked this episode, subscribe to our channel for so much more and click the notification bell so you don't miss a thing.